Hey guys, so welcome to Lit Survey 11. Today is January 9th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about Unreliable Narrator Day 2. So we have already spent some time talking about Unreliable Narrator, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it, and we're going to kind of continue talking about what makes a narrator reliable or unreliable. And we're going to determine the credibility of the narrator, citing text evidence. So, one of the first things that you want to think about is, what does credible mean? So, credible is somebody that we can trust. What they're saying or what their account is something that is true. So, that is really important because we will continue to use that word. Think about a time when you've had to rely on someone else and try to think, do you think you're reliable? Why or why not? And the three reasons that a narrator would be unreliable. The first one would be that they are too young or maybe immature to really understand what is actually happening. The second reason is that they might be mentally unstable, they might have a mental illness, or they might be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And the last reason is that they just might be outright lying to us. So keep in mind that the narrator is the person telling the story, sometimes a character in the story, first person point of view. When reading fiction, the narrator is not going to always be the author of the book. So that's just something to also keep in mind. If you have a reliable narrator, you're going to accurately observe and record the reality of the story from the narrator's point of view. They're going to share values of the reader and create trust with the reader. The narrator is going to have a lot of knowledge about the events and characters of the story. So these are just a couple of examples of books that have reliable narrators. Now, on the other hand, an unreliable narrator is a subjective narration. They're not trustworthy or credible. They might lie on purpose or out of self-interest. They're going to deny his or her role. They're going to deny his or her role in events of the story. They're going to express ideas or values that you might not agree with or lack a moral compass. They can be mentally unstable, and they're going to tell events accurately, but maybe interpret them in a way that is at odds with you. And this is a list of some books and movies that we have an unreliable narrator in. So if you're determining the reliability of the narrator, step one is to recall, what do you know about the narrator? Brainstorm ideas from the story. Step two is to pass judgment. Is the narrator trustworthy, and find evidence? Step three is to determine reliability, reliable or unreliable narrator. So there is a Kahoot for you to work on, and some guiding questions that we want to remember is to understand what makes a narrator reliable or unreliable, and you'll be able to determine credibility of a narrator by citing text evidence. So your exit is to think of a book, show, or movie with an unreliable narrator. And we are going to continue working on this tomorrow in class.